Let's see who we have on the line. Is that Melinda?
It is, Jim. How are you?
Good.
Hi,
good.
Melinda. I'm Diana.
Oh, hi, Diana.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to talk to you.
So we're going to talk for a moment about your business. I just read that you've been in the business for 130 years.
About right.
What year did you start?
I started in, I believe it was 1978.
Wow.
Oh my
Had
God.
done law school and had worked at some other jobs before that, and then got my real estate license thinking it was going to be a part-time venture for a while. So it's been a long journey.
Yeah.
So you started when you were maybe 3 or 4 years old.
It would appear so.
Yeah, it does appear.
It does,
so.
yeah. The picture looks great.
Are you in, and because this is, yesterday I was running around like a crazy person, but my office manager said that you all have a radio show, but you all are both brokers. Is that
We're full time. Yep, we're in the trenches 7 days a week.
And you are in Boston?
We are in Boston.
That's correct.
No, Sven Anderson?
Sven.
The name's somewhat familiar.
Because he's right, or do you know Lillian Montalto?
Oh, of course.
Bolin?
Who doesn't know Lillian?
And we're in a network group with them.
Okay.
Oh.
And have been coached by Bob for many years and go up to Andover at least once a year, to meet with he and Lillian and a group of people that we've established for a long time. So
Very nice.
that you probably would be aware of that.
Well, let's let you interview us.
Be a change.
So
So you've been with Long and Foster Real Estate for
Time,
the whole time.
the whole time.
Never ventured off.
no one's ever tried to recruit you.
Often. But, it's interesting that I had a couple of years ago, because Wes Foster is eventually cycling out. A lot of the people that I had grown up with in the organization, it was changing. He hired some outside people to help run it on a more corporate level, and at that point, and managers were cycling in and out. I had gone out to see what I was worth, because when you're with a company for as long, as I have been, you're almost better to leave the company and come back, if that makes any sense to you, because once you're gone, they want you back and they're willing to offer you things that they wouldn't have, by being with the company as long as you are. If there's no threat of you going, they're not going to offer you some of the bennies that the agents that they had purchased from other companies were getting much better than I, even though I had more production.
So did you quit and then come back?
I did not. And I still don't have packages as sweet as some of the people in the firm, but I'm happy enough with it. Long and Foster is the largest independently owned operation on the East Coast, and in our area, places like Remax, I don't know what your agency is, but Keller Williams are not as huge a factor here. We probably compete more strongly with small boutique firms like Washington Fine Properties, the Sotheby's affiliate here, because my market is upper middle class. I wouldn't call it luxury, but I deal in the 800 to 2 million range for the most part, where a lot of these people are 3 million to 15 million on a fairly regular basis. But that's your biggest competition in the area, some of the smaller boutique firms. So,
I actually went on your MLS and checked that out. So, yeah, that name Washington came up.
right. So WFP, and what you'll see is TTR, which is the Sotheby's division, and Evers and Company, and McInerney, and so forth. So what's interesting just through all of it is that, I went to interview with them, because for a while I felt perhaps there's something more I could do there, to be with a smaller firm and so forth, and I felt that because Long and Foster was becoming so large, my direct connection to the owners and what was going on in the company was starting to get filtered down. So I really, you have to be prepared to leave if that in fact is where you're going, and I went in and made a case for what I felt I was owed. just
So
for having.
what did you ask for? I'll be opening Pandora's box
Sure.
here.
I understand that these companies need to make money, but it's interesting. I started 15, 20 years ago keeping extremely detailed records because when management would say, we don't really make a lot of money on people like you, that stuck with me for a long period of time. So what I did was to take the split out of, what in fact I was, actually making Long and Foster. Every time I gave business to one of their affiliates, which was a settlement company or the mortgage company, what they were, if we gave the settlement company that we use a lot, 50 deals to 60 deals a year, what that meant in terms of my profit margin. The intangibles were sign calls coming in, marketing things coming in, people being able to sell our listings and owning a neighborhood. Those are the intangible, worthwhile things, not to mention mentoring, answering questions, and being low maintenance in the office, having my own staff so that I'm not using up their equipment, their people, taking up their time. So it was, when they would say things like, well, we can make more off someone making $80,000 a year than you, that just wasn't true. When you're making them hard money, $180,000 a year, not to mention, the affiliates and everything else, you're probably making them about $300,000 a year, and that's, I'm making on top of that with no expenses or wear and tear. So that was a revelation for me.
That.
Again, when you say they're not making a fortune, they're certainly making as much on me as they are, anyone pulling in $100,000. I mean, I've got
That's true.
in front of me.
Plus, you're helping their market share.
And you're low maintenance.
And I think
You're no drama.
agents that I've brought in that are making money, that are doing well, that they're not having to coach or train or, and I'm not using up their staff. Again, there are intangible things. But, after 37 years in this business and never having been sued, never causing a problem, never whined, never asked for stuff, real estate companies look at people differently than if you're working for a bank or somewhere else where, somebody gets close to 40 years in the business, they get a gold watch, a heavy retirement, and it's a beautiful thing. I feel that in some respects, the company owes you a bit of, we've really been pleased you've been with us and done for us over the years, the amount that you've made us after all these years, I feel should account for something. I don't think that real estate companies look at it that way, and I think that it's very unusual for someone to have been with a company from the outset and not having left, but I don't think they'll ever really see that. I'll pass my 40 years with a company and probably not even get a phone call. So it is what it is.
So yeah, that's interesting.